Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and this is the Jacqueline Fine deck that I just finished playing the Dunwich Legacy with. I was playing the Return 2 set on standard difficulty alongside of a Marie Lambeau while playing Two-Fisted. If you want to see those videos and understand how I got here, they're all up on the channel now. And if you've watched my tier list or the Mystic Mono deck videos, you already know that I think Jacqueline Fine is a really strong character. She's a very generic Mystic, but being a 5-head Mystic with 6/9 soak is a great stat line. Her ability helps Mystics a lot because it helps you avoid the backfire effects of all their very powerful assets, or allows you to use cards like Recharge in a way that wouldn't be consistent on anyone else. Same thing for Prescient. These are both cards that most Mystics are very hesitant to run, and they're just obviously great in Jacqueline. But it doesn't stop there, because your unique asset gives you a second charge of this ability every turn, and what's really crazy about it is that you can use it on your teammates, which gives her a sort of team support that most Mystics don't have. Most Mystics do have team support. You run Warded Protection level 2 and you're better support than almost any other character in the game, but Jacqueline Fine is actually much better at supporting her team than most Mystics. And all of those strengths really do need to be there because Jacqueline Fine is mono purple. Her deck building is very limited, but lucky for her, what Mystics do is inherently quite strong. In a different campaign, I would likely have planned a different deck. I would really have preferred to have things like Diana Esperance over these Arcane Initiates, but with Down the Rabbit Hole and Dunwich levels of experience, I couldn't afford to use something like Diana Esperance. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what you would do with all of your experience. It wouldn't be a bad thing at all to go for something like Twyla Catherine Price and Charisma. That sounds pretty strong. All of that said, even though I don't know what I would do beyond just taking Charisma and more allies, that's really good. Diana Esperance has 3 health soak. It makes you basically invincible, because if you ever do get in a bad spot, you can just slap a deny existence on her. It gives you insane value from cards like Read the Signs, Recharge, Warded Protection. Like Diana in this deck would obviously be great. Twyla would also be fine. And I think I would prefer that, because if I got Twyla, I wouldn't feel like I needed Recharge and could afford to expend the experience and card slots on something else. Odds are that something else might be Spectral Razor, which might be seeing an upgrade alongside Read the Signs with Return 2 Dream Eaters, and that deck sounds pretty fucking Chris. But even if you just took this deck into the finale of any campaign other than Dunwich, it would do really well. This deck doesn't need anything else. Even at this point, it's incredible. I am not of the opinion that Jacqueline Fine is an S tier character. I think she's easy A+. It's real hard to argue with that. But I think with the inherent limits of Mystic mobility and her bad card draw making it sort of difficult to reliably hit her ability, I don't think she's that insane. I don't think she's breaking the game the way an S tier character does. I do think she's incredibly strong. And it's like beginning to end. Like if I show you the level 0 deck that I started the campaign with, it's just the same deck. We removed all the upgrade pips, but it's the same fucking deck. This is the epitome of the Mystic deck building problem. You don't really change your deck. Your character doesn't grow and evolve. If you bring a Preston Fairmont into a game, you might start as a Dark Horse deck and end as a big money deck. If you bring Sister Mary into the campaign, you start as a pile of garbage and you end as a real character. There's no growth like that with Jacqueline. Jacqueline just is what she is, beginning to end, getting linearly better every single scenario, and because of all of her free experience, doing it at a much faster rate than other people. She's very strong, very good. There's nothing complicated to talk about. I really wish I had more to add than that, because the Marie video is also very short, so I think I might just upload both of these in the same day. I would like to hear in the comments, though, if you have any weird jank combos with Jacqueline that you think are cool and worth pursuing beyond the generic Mystic stuff. Because Jacqueline does have access to a lot of weird cards that I wasn't using Voice of Ra. I think Voice of Ra is unreliable income, and she has good enough income without Voice of Ra that I just chose not to go for it. But I wonder if I missed anything that was actually powerful enough to justify using. Shining Trap as Ohedron's the only card I was really strongly considering that I didn't put in my final deck. Obviously, it cost 4 experience, so I was never going to run it in Dunwich. That was the end of the decision making for me. But even in a normal Jacqueline deck in a different campaign, I still don't think I would have ran it. It's a really cool economy card. But when you're spending 4 experience to remove a Holy Rosary from a Mystic deck, it just doesn't feel that good. And like I said with Voice of Ra, I just didn't feel like I need the economy in this deck. The cards I'm using aren't that expensive. I'm in no rush to play Read the Signs early. And with 8 skills in the deck, I can just afford to use 1 Emergency Cast or 1 Engage the Soul, play a couple of assets, and wait. I do think Jacqueline Fine could move to S tier eventually if the card pool improved in certain ways, but I don't think that will ever happen. Specifically, the way I think you might get there is if Read the Signs and Spectral Razor do get upgrades, and Mystic gets access to more draw. If those things happen, I think Jacqueline Fine would be strong enough to reach S tier. Because then Diana Esperance would be an incredibly consistent and powerful card to like a much greater degree than it currently is. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jacqueline Fine is always going to be staying solidly in the middle to upper end of the A+ tier. She's excellent. She's incredibly, incredibly good. But she's not breaking the game. She still has to play by the rules. As I did several times in my campaign, you'll still draw auto-fail, -3, -4, take a -7, and fail a check you had 9 in when you use your ability. But she is incredible. I have no complaints whatsoever about Jacqueline. Sure, her deck building is boring. She has the Mystic problem to the absolute extreme. But that doesn't affect how much fun I have when I'm playing her. But yeah, that's it for now. I have nothing more to say about Jacqueline Fine. If there's some cool stuff that Jacqueline has access to that you think I've missed out on, I'd love to hear about it. She seems like she could have some really cool stuff that her ability lets her use where I've not even realized I'm missing it because I wrote off the cards so long ago. But I really like her. She's very strong. There's nothing to complain about. If anyone dislikes Jacqueline Fine, I can tell you what their argument is. It's that she's boring. And I can see where they're coming from, but I like Lily Chen. Boring doesn't really affect me. Anyways, I've been rather incoherent. That's it for now. If you liked the video, then like, comment, subscribe for more Arkham content in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.